Well, hello folks. This video is going to be like a part two showing fruit tree flowers in my permaculture garden. I did another video that shows fruit tree flowers on my native plum trees, and there's still a few native plum tree flowers in this video. This is going to show some of the other fruit trees that I have, like cherry and nectarine and pear. Stay tuned towards the end of the video if you want to see what they look like and when they're in more full blossom. You'll kind of see a progression of what they look like as they come out. This video takes place over several days. So I wanted to film the pear tree. I've already filmed it and posted a video, but it's in more full bloom, so you get more of a maximum effect of the beautiful white flowers that it produces. Now, this tree is not structured properly. None of my pear trees really are, although I do have a moonglow pear, which is a dwarf pear, and it hasn't come off yet, but you can see it's getting ready to, and it's a little bit better structured. But I did not know what I was doing when it came to pruning pear trees. They're similar to apple trees, and now I understand how to do it. Now I got to figure out I have to spend some time restructuring this tree. Let's get you. You can see. Beautiful. So if this was structured well, the tree would be all full like a tree is supposed to look, and it would just be all white like this. Pollinators do seem to like it, not as much as the native plums, but it is quite beautiful. I don't know if you can see this. Look at the sun out of the picture, the sun setting. You can see it is white all the way up to the tip. Just beautiful. I mentioned in an earlier video where I posted the spring flowers that this larger nectarine tree has not come off yet. And it's just now starting to, it's not even really at peak full bloom, but it's starting to, and you can see it's just brilliant, just beautiful. In the back you can see another nectarine, a younger one, beautiful pink. There was a year that the plum right next to it bloomed at the same time, and we had this beautiful patch of white and then transitioning to pink. But it's just absolutely gorgeous. Pollinators love the nectarine, similar to peach. I mean, a nectarine really is a peach. But this one in the back is a different variety. This is a hard-eyered nectarine, and I want to say this is like Fantasia or something like that. And it's got a darker pink color. Truly gorgeous. My garden delights are usually delightful. And you can see that it still hasn't reached full peak. You still got some unbloomed flowers. In the back you can see I got another one in the distance there. Another garden delight. This one is a trash nectarine that I got. Someone gifted it to me, and I don't even know what type it is, but it's supposed to be a dwarf. I don't think it's a dwarf, but it's just now starting to bloom. You can tell some of the blossoms down here are old. As the sap rises in the spring, it usually blooms from the bottom up. So I wanted to bring you guys out with me and share with you the nectarine tree I mentioned in an earlier video, the large nectarine, which has now finally decided to pop off. And it is just gorgeous. It's a real windy day, so you're not going to see as many pollinators, but they are out. I have noticed that the pollinators do not seem to enjoy the non-native trees as much as the native trees, like my native plums here. But they still, don't make any mistake, they still thoroughly enjoy them. But I do think it's quite gorgeous. Let me see if I can get a up-close blossom for you. Really pretty. The Garden Delight dwarf nectarines are also starting to really come out. Not as many blossoms as I've had in previous years on these guys. I'm not sure why, but they are coming out. You can see my Georgia collard here doing quite well after all the freeze. The other dwarf nectarine. Really pretty. The pear tree you see here in the back has not even started sending out blossoms yet. It hadn't even sent out some leaves. Actually, it has started just now. And I wanted to share this. It is my first quince blossom. I have several quince on the property, and this is the first time that I've received a blossom on one. So I'm kind of excited about that. I have blossoms on Nanking cherry. Kind of a pinkish white on the Nanking cherry. See another one. So blossoms, flowers everywhere. New blossoms for the first time. See, we have another quince right here. Really pretty. This is a flower that native pollinators do like, but it's a problem crop. This is called crow's foot, and if it grows right next to native onions, it can be easily mistaken for a native onion. And if you eat it, you'll die, or at least get very, very sick. So don't make the mistake of misidentifying crow's foot as native onion. And they also have very similar flowers. You can see I've got a nice little crow's foot patch back there. I leave them as long as they're not in the way of other crops. You can see, we can inspect this pear. You can see starting to get some green on it. I'll walk you over to my other pear. It's reached peak blossom. Kind of missed it for you guys. Oh wait, let's take a look at this. Another set of flowers that we have. This is coral honeysuckle. As I've mentioned in an earlier video on flowers, when I had a traditional yard, it was just grass. There were no flowers, not even so much as a dandelion blossom, because I manicured it quite well. I've been keeping track of this guy. This is an aloe vera blossom. So I'll make sure to do another video to show y'all when it finally comes out, what it looks like. This is something else I'll show you. This is not native to the cross timbers, but it is native to Texas. This is a American plum. And the pollinators seem to enjoy it just as much as the Chickasaw and Mexican plum. And it always blooms later than both Mexican and Chickasaw plums, because it's really not native to this area. It always comes out later, which provides extra food for pollinators a bit later into the spring. I have another American plum next to it, which I'm glad to say lived. And heartbreakingly, let me also mention this. The American plum smells just as sweet as the other native plums. One of the sweetest smelling trees I think that I have. So heartbreakingly, I lost this American plum. It was about 12 years old, and I lost this one. So I pollarded them. You can see here, just cut off the trunk to get new growth to come out. And plenty of new growth came out, as you can see. But something in the drought destroyed them. They were doing quite well until around late July. So that's heartbreaking. Let me take you over here. Still got plenty of blossoms on this guy. Pollinators are going after it. Plenty of blossoms. But I've got some major restructuring and pruning to do on him, so sadly I'm not gonna probably be able to let this set fruit. I'm gonna have to take care of it because the way the branching structure on this is, it's all wrong. It's not good. So we'll see what I end up with. There you go. There's some of the latest blooms and blossoms of spring in my permacultured yard, permaculture garden. A garden that used to have 0 flowers, now has got copious amounts. You see in the distance, you can see the pink It's always much more dramatic, I think, when you're not up close to the blooming tree, when you can get some distance on it. I'll take you over to it, get a better shot of it. You can see it there, just a sea of pink. Beautiful. So if you like flowers, I highly advise you put in a fruit orchard.